Good morning, Hammers fans. It's Nick from Claret and Booze. Welcome to my daily ramble. As always, if you're new to this channel, we are fast approaching 10k. Well, we're about 1,400 off, but we're not far off. We're not far off. So every sub does matter. Try and help us get there before Christmas. That'd be lovely. Also, does really help us. Please drop a like on the video. And a new discount code from our sponsors, our lovely sponsors, David, West Ham fan, West Ham season ticket holder from the Kent and Sussex Tea and Coffee Company. If you use Claret25, our discount code, you'll get 25% off of everything up until December the 5th, but not until tomorrow. So wait until tomorrow and then place your orders. It's a great site. Go and have a look. Check them out. The information will be in the description of this video. All right? Okay. Right. What we're going to talk about, well, it's Europa League day. We've got Olympiacos. I'll talk about that for a little bit. But what I am going to touch on is Tim Steidten. I'd like to touch on him. He's a very handsome man. But no, I'm not that kind of girl. Look, there's been social media, particularly Twitter, has been a very, very fractious place for a long time now. Well, it always is, really, but especially with, Moyes in and Moyes out, it's tedious. It is tedious, and all you ever hear from really are the noisy people on either end, which I suppose I fall into that category. The people who sit in the middle largely stay out of that stuff. But it's gone from one extreme to another now. So obviously we know that the club have released news that officially via TalkSport that David Moyes will not be kept here beyond the summer. It's not going to happen. And obviously Gary nicked my news yesterday as well, and he said that we haven't done a dirty on Moyes. They did take him in to a meeting after the Brentford game, and they told him face to face, and they did say to him, "We're not going to be keeping you on." Didn't react very well, but who would? But he's still here. He'd done his pre-match press conference, so he's still going to be in the dugout. Great. So he's not walking. How long he's got, I don't know. I think that's going to be determined by his success in the upcoming games. I think that's obvious. I don't think the Olympiacos game tonight really matters, if I'm honest. I think we're expected to win that. I mean, it's going to be horrible if we don't, because then a European status is going to be at threat. From a league the league table that we was dominating, we could be down to third really tomorrow if it goes wrong. I don't think it will. I think we'll beat Olympiacos. I think we'll beat them off the park. I've got to be honest. But his real test is going to come against Forest and against Brentford. We know that. If he loses those two, then I think that they could be pushed to make a change. But look, a lot of people, including me, have been very frustrated. They've been saying, well, why? Why would you release this news? Why would you come out and publicly say that the manager isn't going to be backed when there's still 2/3 of the season to be played and we've got so much to play for? Why would you do that? That isn't helping Moyes. It's been explained to me now. There are reasons for this. They've kind of had to expedite the situation because of player contracts and stuff like that. Disgruntled youth academy members that are running towards the end of their contracts. They've had to make moves, and that's what they've done. They've made it public. They've got a backup plan in John Heitinger, who can come in, a guy who's managed 16 games as a caretaker manager at Ajax, won 11 of them. So we do have him as a plan B. I'm almost certain that Tim Steidten has got a manager signed and sealed for the summer, already sort of pre-agreed. I think that played a big part in getting Jared Bowen to sign his contract. Jared Bowen would have wanted proof because we do a lot of talking at West Ham. Oh, don't worry, he's not going to be here. We'll move on. I would imagine that somebody like Bowen would be like, all right, well who are we getting? So to get that deal done and to get it over the line, I would imagine there's probably a pre-agreement with someone in place as we speak. We're never going to know who it is. Xabi Alonso. Woo! Imagine that. Imagine old Xabi landing. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? I do think we've got a chance, by the way. I know a lot of people scoff. I think we've got a chance. If he wins the Bundesliga, no chance. He'll be off. I don't think he's going to win the Bundesliga. I think they're doing amazingly well because of him, but they're a young team. I think they'll fall off. He ain't going to get the Real Madrid job at the end of the year. I think they'll be. I think it's too soon for him as well. 18 months in top flight management? I think it'd be a bit of a crazy move for him to go to a top job now. If you look at Gerrard, Lampard, Potter, if it goes wrong, that really does put you back, So I think it makes far more sense for Tim to come to work for a bigger club, which we are. They're only top of the Bundesliga because of him. but we're a bigger club in a much bigger league, and work for a director of football that you've already got a relationship with. We know that. He's got a relationship with Tim. They get on. Tim plucked him from obscurity, although others will have you believe differently. More about that after. Yeah, Tim sort of plucked him from Real Sociedad B, gave him his big chance. We're a club that sticks by managers. My God, do we stick by managers? I mean, David Moyes, how is he still here? I know he won the cap, but 2 years it's been shit in the league. It's been shit. We don't sack managers. So what better place to kind of sow your royal oats into the Premier League than West Ham? You know, we are a club on the up. You know, with sort of treading sort of quite gently into the European League, and yeah, I think why not? Why wouldn't you do that? And then if he does well here, then he moves on to another job, because look, I think you've got to be experienced to take a big job like a Real Madrid. You know, I think you've got to be, and he's not yet. He's not. So come and learn your trade here. Come and be a massive hammer, Xabi. You know, it makes sense. But yes, so I do think there's a plan. Whether it's Xabi Alonso or not, I don't know. But equally, if it's not, he found Xabi Alonso, he'll find someone else. Now, news broke that, which was nonsense news, that Sullivan has instructed Steidten to go and collate a list of potential replacements. He came with a list. He knows who he wants to employ. He's always known, you know. He's got a massive network of people that he talks to within the game. And yeah, that's not going to be an issue for Tim Steidten. And what I wanted to touch on as well is this social media divide that we've got at the moment. Because as I said on my Sunday night show, there are people that are so desperately Moyes in, blindly Moyes in. You could say I'm blindly Moyes out, but there are people on the other side that they just baffle me. They baffle me, and they can't see any wrong in what he does. And now they've heard this news, they're losing their minds, and they are finding any way to discredit West Ham. Be that Sullivan. Sullivan's had a bit. I don't mind that. I don't like Sullivan either. But Tim Steidten, they've turned on. Honestly, some big West Ham accounts have come out. They're trying to do digging to prove that Tim Steidten had nothing to do with Xabi Alonso being brought into Leverkusen. It was his job. He was a director of football. That was his job. And there's tons of articles out there that say Tim was instrumental in uncovering and bringing Xabi Alonso to Leverkusen, but they're not having it. It was nothing to do with him. Now, look, I'm not being funny. With or without that, you've only got to look at the guy's body of work throughout his last 2 clubs that he's worked for, the volume of talent that he has uncovered and brought through. You know, if you looked at building a starting 11 of players that Tim has uncovered, it's ridiculous. Add to that the players that he's brought in here, you know. Kudus, he'd get in any starting 11. Honestly, he's a phenomenal talent. Tim Steidten is a talent. He actually is. And we've got him at our football club. And a lot of people say, I hear him cry, well, what's going to happen? You know, when David Moyes goes, what's going to happen? You know? Because they're fearful. They're kind of stuck in a state of paralysis because of what's happened before with David Sullivan and his failures. And we know that. I can understand that. But we've got Tim Steidten now. We managed to attract Tim Steidten, one of the best directors of football around. We've got him in. We've managed to get Paqueta. We've got Kudus. And the new manager will be recruited by Tim Steidten and will work for Tim Steidten. That's how it will work. Sullivan's not in the equation. He's not. He just signs the checks now, you know. Tim is at the wheel. Don't worry. And I think we're in very capable hands. If you look at what he's done in just a matter of months here, is miraculous, right? Not only has he had to sort of butt heads with David Moyes over targets and lose out on certain key targets for Fana, because we've had to give David Moyes a bit. He wanted James Ward-Prowse, so we went and got James Ward-Prowse. But the players that we have gone and got, he's in a very short space of time, because they were dicking around for a long time until Sullivan went, go, Tim, go. And then the players just started literally flying in on Tim's jet, didn't they? You know, and he is the deal maker, you know. I mean, look, there's rumours that Alvarez was spotted by Noble in the past. That could well be true. That could be true. You know, because Tim and Noble work very closely together. That's what you want. He could have gone to Tim and said, look, there's a CDM here. We know Declan Rice has gone. What about this guy? Tim's gone, yeah, agreed. Yeah, absolutely agreed. He's not Dutch, is he? But he's flown over there. It was Tim that got the job done. It was Tim that sold the dream to Alvarez. It was Tim that got this player in, you know, which is something we've struggled to do before. Get our key targets. We don't do it. It's always a first, second. It's always a second, third, fourth, fifth choice. This was our key target that we wanted. Alvarez, he went and got him. Went and got Kudus. Went and got Mavropanos. No messing around. None. No messing around. Absolutely fantastic, phenomenal work. And then to cap it all off, we knew that we were struggling with Jared Bowen. We knew that. You know, we heard the rumours last year. We know Jared Bowen obviously probably likes David Moyes and everything else, blah, blah, blah. You know, he showed faith in him, brought him through into the Premier League, but he does want to play in a more expansive team. He did want that. And then basically when it was all going off the rails, Sullivan brought Tim Steidten into the mix, and Tim Steidten sold him the dream. He sold him the dream, and I think the only way that could have happened is if Tim has proven to Jared Bowen that he's going to be working for someone else in not too in a distant future. He's going to be working for a new progressive manager, and I do think that that's what's going to be happening. He's done a fantastic job, you know. And the cherry on top of the cake. Now we all heard that the Divin Mabama news that he's not going to be signing a contract. Who can blame him? Who can blame the kid for not wanting to sign a contract not so much for a club, but for a man that just doesn't bring through youth talent? You know, why would you do that? And we've got some additional news now. And that is that Tim Steidten, not only is he working miracles in the transfer market, is he working miracles behind the scene in finding new replacements for the manager? Is he working miracles with existing senior personnel? You know, critical players, getting them tied down. He's now working with Mark Noble to convince the parents of very, very concerned parents of kids in our academy that they need not worry. There was a meeting with the parents of key kids. I'm sure it's going to filter down to everyone, but people that kind of had the biggest concern. And they're basically being told, be patient. Things are changing. Things are changing for the better. We're going to focus on the Academy of Football. We've got a wonderful academy. You know, the development of players is key to us. And the next manager that comes in will be a manager with a proven track record in bringing youth players through. That is key. We will not be interested in anyone that hasn't got a proven track record with doing that. So that is obviously a wonderful message to send through to the parents. They shook hands, off they popped. Now, look, it might not work with everyone, but from what I've been told, he's a very convincing man, is our Tim. He's a very convincing man. And that's why Sullivan's got to back him, because, you know, if he's selling the dream, he's selling an ambitious project, then the club have got to back him up on that. And that is why I am confident that they are not going to allow a failing manager to drive this club off a cliff because they don't want to pay him a few million in compensation. They're not going to do that, because that goes against... It makes Tim look like a liar. You know, an ambitious club don't do that. I don't think they're going to allow that to happen. They won't allow it to happen. So I just think that we are in safe hands. We are in safe hands. We've got Tim. Super Tim. All right? And we're about to embark on phase 2 of his project, and that is getting his man in, getting his manager in, and another new batch of players. We'll have players coming in January. We'll have a new batch in the summer, and we're going to have a new manager and a new style of football, and it is going to be amazing. It is. And there's going to be a lot of sad people out there that are going to be waiting for the wheels to fly off so that they can start harping on about David Moyes, you know? Because that's what you get. It's what you get. I mean, you know, I love Ange Postecoglou. I detest Tottenham. It's a moral dilemma. But I couldn't believe what I was reading with that one the other day, when obviously, you know, they've been top of the league. They've had a crazy game where they went ahead against Chelsea, then lost their heads completely, got 2 players sent off, went down to 9 men, ended up around about 2-1. Postecoglou's still going for the game. He's playing with a ridiculous high line against the team. And you've got fans coming out going, Moyes would never do that. Moyes would never do that. We'd have the same thing. We're going to be sitting top of the league with Xabi Alonso, right? Top of the league. Think of this. Fast forward, top of the league. You know, I think we're going to have won about 15 games on the spin. 15 games on the spin, and we're going to have a crazy game like that. We're going to have 4 players sent off, and Xabi Alonso, because he's got such massive bollocks, is going to go, no, we're not defending. We're still going to give it a go. And do you know what? We're going to lose by the skin of our teeth, and all they're going to do is churn out, David Moyes would never have done that. No, he wouldn't have. Oh, dear. All them little bookmark tweets I'll be going through. But look, that's it from me anyway. I hope you enjoyed the show. Before I go, friend of the show, Canning Town Len. I'm sure you've all heard him on the More Than Just a Podcast. He's an artist. He is an artist. He's kind of the unofficial official West Ham artist as well. Go and check his website out. He's absolutely amazing. I absolutely love that. He's not a sponsor. He's a friend of the show, and I'm just giving him a bit of a punt because I'm so happy with Mr. Paqueta sitting over my left shoulder. All right, it is amazing. You won't be disappointed. Coming up to Christmas, go and buy someone a gift, or buy yourself a gift. Even better. That's what I like doing. All right. Anyway, I'll speak to you soon. Give me your heads.